Thursday, August 10th, City Commission meeting to order. If commissioners will be okay, usually we read proclamations before the meeting. I have a proclamation that I put together, and I'd like to see. We lost a citizen of Hayes that's very important to all of us, and if you guys are all right, I'd like to read that to start the meeting. So, start out with a proclamation by the City of Hayes. To all citizens of the City of Hayes, greetings. Whereas Robert E. Bob Schmidt grew up in the Cross, where he attended school until leaving high school to join the U.S. Navy and served in the Philippines during World War II. And whereas Mr. Schmidt began his career in radio as a sportscaster while in college at Fort Hays State University and was the original voice of the Tigers. And whereas on December 28, 1949, he was united in marriage to Patricia Ann Pat Everton in the Cross, where they began nearly 69 years of wedded life together and enjoyed their 3 children, Anthony, Ann, and Sue, as well as 4 grandchildren and their families. And whereas continuing with his career in radio upon graduation from Fort Hays State University, he was appointed general manager at KOIS Radio, was elected vice president and director of KOIS Inc., now Eagle Communications, and in 1989 purchased control of the corporation and was elected president and CEO. And whereas while leading the corporation, the company built or purchased 24 radio and television stations and 12 cable systems in Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, and Texas. And the company now has 28 radio stations and 60 cable systems serving communities with broadband, video, and telephony services. And whereas Robert E. Bob Schmidt, whose name has been synonymous with kindness and generosity for so many programs and projects for so many years, has served on many boards throughout the community and has been an excellent example of true philanthropist as well as successful business leader. And whereas Mr. Schmidt has received numerous honors and recognitions as a leader in the broadcast industry, as well as his many years of unselfish service to so many organizations in Hayes and the state of Kansas, serving as chair of the Kansas State Chamber of Commerce, serving on Fort Hays State University Endowment Board, the Hayes Medical Center Foundation Board, serving as the very first chair of the Ellis County Coalition for Economic Development Board, and being honored locally by the Hayes Area Chamber of Commerce as Outstanding Young Man of the Year Award. In 1956, being named Hayes Most Valuable Citizen. In 1989, and being inducted into the Hayes Area Chamber of Commerce Hall of Fame in 2003. And whereas the Hayes community and state of Kansas are very fortunate to have had a person share so much of himself as well as his good fortune, and whereas Mr. Schmidt continues to be a major contributor to projects important to Ellis County and Kansas through the Bob and Pat Schmidt Foundation. Now therefore I, Sean Musil, Mayor of Hayes, Kansas, do hereby proclaim August 12th, 2017 as Robert E. Bob Schmidt Day in the City of Hayes in appreciation of his invaluable service and generosity to this community. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and affixed the seal of the City of Hayes this 10th day of August 2017. Commissioners, would you guys like to say anything?
There's been many things said about Bob over the last couple of days and all of his life, really, but I knew Bob since 1963. We were good friends, and more recently, in the last 10 years, we were great friends. He was a mentor to me. He always encouraged me to do the right thing and figure out what the right thing was. But he said more than just giving back, it was getting other people to encourage, to get other people to join in. And that was the true leadership that Bob had, in my opinion. He could bring people to the fold, if you will. He collaborated. I will miss him greatly. He was a great, great man.
I never had the pleasure of meeting him, but I do know who he was and know that Hayes lost a great man and contributor to this city, and want to send my condolences and prayers to his family.
3 things about Bob that I will never forget. And the one, that he was probably the hardest working person in this community. And he took a radio station that was losing money and he turned it into a powerhouse. He took a television station that didn't exist, made a television station, and built a television empire in Kansas. Amazing workaholic. Second, amazing sense of humor. And the funniest, quickest wit, just incredible. And the third, this sense of when you're self-made and when you have an opportunity like that he created, he also realized, and you can see him on YouTube, on Hayes Post as well, talking about this, he believed that it was his responsibility to give back because he had done so well and had done something, in the realm of radio, TV. It was a public license that he was obligated to give that money back. And with Bob and Pat, that's a generation of people that are gone. There's just 2 more people left. But who are going to be the next people that step up? And that's what I'm concerned about, because this was a whole generation of people that are gone. And he was exemplary, and he always brought someone to the table. That's why it's Beach, Schmidt, Bickel, Schmidt, Abel. It's just that he brought them all to the table.
Yeah, Dreiling Schmidt.
Yeah.
We all benefit. I personally benefit because I work at the Dreiling Schmidt Cancer Institute, which is directly there because of the contributions of Bob and Pat Schmidt. And so everybody in the community at some point is benefited from the Schmidt family. So this is a great loss, and I agree with Commissioner Schwaller. These families have done so much for Hayes. It's such a tragedy to lose them, because you wonder what's going to happen with the next generation if we're going to have the same thing.
Yeah, I would agree. That's one of the first things when I moved to Hayes in the early 90s. You just see his name all over the place, and for me it was like, who is this guy? And I'd always heard about it. And a few years before I became city commissioner, I'd been at different events, and he's the type of guy you can just kind of sit in awe and listen to him. And he never treated you like you were below him. You were one of the residents of Hayes, and it gives me chills just to talk about the guy, because the word idolize gets thrown around sometimes too much to ridiculous people, but this guy, he's truly a guy you can idolize. And you say, who's going to step up next? Well, for us, 40-something people, I believe it's our time, and we need to look at what he did and run with the ball. It's our time to keep going. So, thank you guys for allowing me to do this tonight. And I'm actually going to. After signing this tonight, going to give it to Commissioner Jacobs, and she has actually contacted the family, and they're meeting the commissioners that can be here tomorrow at 11:30 and take some photos and stuff. So, thank you guys. Next item on the agenda, approval of the July 27 minutes. Stand as written. Next item on the agenda would be citizen comments. Next item would be the employee promotions and new hires.
Good evening, everyone. Jeff Crispin, Director of Water Resources, and I have 2 new hires to discuss tonight and a promotion within our department. Our first new hire, Holly Dickman. She's no stranger probably to citizens of Hayes and Ellis County, being an Ellis County resident all her life. Spent the last 11 years as the extension agent for the agriculture or the horticultural area out at K-State. So we're excited to have her on board. Feel like passing the baton from Jason to Holly is going to be great for the city, and she's already hit the ground running in her short time that she's been here. So we're excited to have her on board. So
That's a brilliant hire, by the way.
Absolutely. I'm totally. I don't know who's going to come and look at my trees now, Holly.
Somebody will help you.
there you go. There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Holly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next new hire, this is Levi Morgan. Levi started with us just over a couple weeks ago. Levi came to us from Hess. He worked for Hess, and kind of his trade, I guess, would be welding, but already brought a lot of things to the table. He's working in our maintenance department as a maintenance worker 1, water lines, sewer lines, working on meters and calls such as that. So we're excited to have Levi on board as well. Thank you for being here.
Welcome.
Thank you for
Levi.
coming.
Thank you so much for coming.
This is a promotion to discuss tonight. Chase Scheibler. Chase actually started with us May 2016, worked in the maintenance department in the water resources department, water lines, sewer lines, meters, and those things. And recently, within the last week, he's moved over to water plant operations. So he will be working over there, helping, making sure that our water is safe, and we're excited to have the things that Chase has brought to the table as well. So appreciate having him on board as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Chase.
Congratulations.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Good evening, Don Scheibler, Chief of Police for the Hayes Police Department. Tonight it's my pleasure to introduce the 3 newest police officers for the Hayes Police Department. Before I do that, I'd like to just take a second and thank the commission for doing this. This is actually my first time as department head to do this. I think this is huge in welcoming new employees to our organization, but also making them feel like they're part of the City of Hayes family. So I'm grateful for your leadership in that area. As Chief of Police, I feel like I hit the jackpot. I got the trifecta of new employees right here. All 3 of these individuals did very well during the testing process. They were highly recommended by the interview board, and I'm just excited to have them on board. Probably one thing I'm most proud as Chief of Police is the fact that all 3 of them are veterans. All 3 of them have served their country in the United States Army. I'm grateful for that. As Chief of Police, you're looking for somebody who understands courage, understands dedication, understands duty, understands sacrifice, and all 3 of these individuals understand that. So again, as Chief, I'm very excited about having them on board. On my far left is Nikki Elliott. Nikki, kind of unique, she was born in the Bahamas. She graduated in high school in New York State. Got her degree from Delaware State University. She spent some time in the private field before joining the United States military. Her husband, Nate, and her family have moved to Hayes for a business opportunity, which gave her the opportunity to join the Hayes Police Department. We're truly our benefit. We're very excited about having Nikki on board with us. Nick Woodruff. Nick also served in the United States Army. Nick, after getting out of the Army, became a federal police officer. And later moved to Kansas and became a certified police officer in the state of Kansas. Him and his wife Jessica and their family have moved to Hayes. And again, that's truly a benefit for us. Him being a certified law enforcement officer, we'll be able to get him up moving faster, a little lot faster. So we're excited. The last one, but not least, Nate Elkins. Nate, kind of a unique situation, was born in Ohio. The love of his life was also born in the same hospital, but they had to move to Manhattan to meet each other in Kansas.
Oh my gosh.
But truly, Nate just got out of the military. I mean, like this week he's in the military, and this week he's working for us. So we're excited about having him on board, but he's also going to Fort Hays State University. He's going to get his degree, and we're very, very excited to have all 3 of them on board. Do you have any questions for them? They're happy to take any questions from you.
Well, I know for me, I always try to, we get the book that has you guys' faces and names and stuff, but, I will guarantee I will never remember all your names, but it's nice to see you guys in front of us, and I appreciate what you guys have done for our country, and I appreciate what you'll do for the city of Hayes. And Don, I appreciate you guys bringing them to us, because I think all of us here enjoyed just as much as you do. So
Thank you very much for having us.
So nice to see everybody from out of state coming to Hayes.
It is, it's wonderful.
Absolutely.
I am very excited. I didn't expect all 3. I thought we had some homegrown. This is great.
This is awesome.
And I'd
I
like to
agree.
thank you for your service to your country and now your service to our community. Welcome. We're thrilled to have you.
Yeah.
thank you.
Second that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
guys.
Welcome aboard.
Thanks.
Next item on the agenda would be the consent agenda. We got some approvals, motion. Okay, yes, sir, I'm sorry. The approvals for this will be the Care Council, Kimberly Thomason, her 2nd term, Hayes Beautification Committee, Angie Cook, 1st term, and Linda Stallman, 3rd term.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Swaller, second by Commissioner Jacobs. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
This is 5-0, and I appreciate the people that we have appointed for stepping up and volunteering for these boards.
Particularly Care Council, that's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
Yes,
I
it
was
is.
hoodwinking someone's wife into that. 4 hours an hour a month. Never learned.
My wife's on that, and she's kind of told me the same thing. Next item would be opening the 2018 budget public hearing. I guess we'll have Jacob give a little presentation of the budget first. Sorry.
All right, Mayor and Commissioners, I'm Jacob Wood, the Assistant City Manager, and I will be going over just kind of a high-level overview of the budget. You guys have been reviewing this budget for the last couple of months. This is really more of a kind of a high level and maybe for the public to see the culmination of the work that we've put in over the last couple of months. So I'll start out with some of the goals and highlights. It's a balanced budget that we're presenting you. There's no mill levy increase. We have a 4% wage increase that's included in this budget. No additional employees. We continue the process of paying cash for large projects. Our reserve funds are maintained and are healthy. And then we have a fully funded street program. You can see the totals by fund. There's 4 major funds that we have things split into. The general fund is about $12 million. Levy funds, which are all the funds where we levy taxes, and that's $8.3 million. Enterprise funds at $12 million, and then we have a bunch of miscellaneous funds that total $5 million. So the total all funds budget for the City of Hayes for 2018 is $38 million. And now I'll just kind of give you an overview of each one of those subcategories. In the general fund, our projected revenue is around $12 million. We do have sales tax coming in. We project that to be flat for the coming year. So our revenue is going to stay right about where it was in 2017 or where we expect it to be in 2017. We did decrease expenditures by over $200,000. And you'll notice we did that with no reduction in services, and we also have a 4% wage increase included. So I think that's pretty impressive that we were able to cut by $200,000 and still include those things. And we have transfers of $500,000 to the Special Highway Fund. That's for the street maintenance program, and that was something that we started a few years ago, and we continued that for 2018. And then we have a transfer of $800,000 to the Commission Capital Reserve, and those are the funds that we use for the large capital projects. And that is in line with what we plan to transfer in 2017 as well. This is a list of all the departments and subdivisions that make up the general fund. I'm not going to go through each one of these. I wanted to show you this. Actually, the next slide shows we have 15 of 25 departments or divisions that actually reduced their budget. So 15 out of 25 are coming in lower in 2018 than what we project to spend in 2017. And there's actually 4 more of those that are right around or increase very slightly. So about 19 out of 25 aren't going up very much at all. So that $200,000 that we were able to find, that's something that was across the board. A lot of different departments and divisions really played a part in finding that $200,000. We'll move on to the levy funds. All of the levy funds remain pretty similar to 2017 levels. Libraries at 6.7 mils, airport at 1, employee benefit at 12, public safety is at 2 mils, and then the bond and interest fund is at 3.2. So the total levy for property taxes will be $8.3 million.
Jacob, what is the cap on the I'm a little confused by the library.
That's library and library employee benefit.
Right, I combined both. So it's actually 7 total. It's about 5.9, and then just a little bit, about 8 for the employee benefit or library benefits.
Thank you.
With the levy, the assessed valuation will increase by 4%. The value of the mill will be $234,000. The mill levy, we project it to remain stable at 25 mills. And that's it's been at or below 25 for 11 of the last 12 years, so that's something we're pretty proud of. We're the 6th lowest levy in Kansas, and we're also the lowest levy outside of Johnson County, so that's something that we should be proud of, being able to keep our levies low. I wanted to go through a little bit of an exercise here. I'm just going to kind of show you what the monthly expense for city services is. The market value of home I'm using is $158,000, and that is the medium home value for owner-occupied houses here in Hayes. And so the way that we determine the tax valuation for the city is we take that assessed valuation, $158,000, and multiply that by 11.5%. That gives us $18,000. And then to determine the tax liability, we divide that by 1,000 and then multiply it by the mill levy. So you have 18,000 divided by 1,000 times 25, and that gives us $454.25. And if you divide that by 12, that will give you the monthly tax liability for the citizens for the median home value in the city of Hayes. So that's $37.85, and that provides all the services that that in conjunction with sales tax provides all the services that we have here in Hayes. And I did this calculation with a couple of other cities, just so you can see how we compare. Garden City's about $10 more than this. Salina's about $8 more. Great Bend is about $40 more, and some of the smaller communities around get even higher than that. If you look at Ellis and Victoria, Plainville, those are over $100. So our taxes, even though our assessed valuation is a little bit higher, maybe people think that's too high, we still have a low property tax. And actually, if you look at this, that $37, the city's portion of that is actually only $27. If you back out the library, it's only $27 for all the services that we provide. We'll move on to the enterprise funds, so water production and distribution. We have projected revenue there at $3.7 million. That's a slight increase from last year. Expenditures were decreased there by $85,000. Transfer the capital improvement program right around $900,000. In water reclamation and reuse, we have projected revenue of $3.3 million. That is also a slight increase over 2017. We did reduce the expenditures in water reclamation and reuse by $250,000. We will start making payments on the wastewater treatment plant in 2018, so that'll be about $1 million payment there. And we did make a transfer, or we're planning to make a transfer of $220,000 to capital improvement fund. That is slightly lower than what we've done in the past couple of years, and that's simply because we have that larger payment for the wastewater treatment plant. Water conservation, we don't anticipate any changes to the water conservation program. I'm not going to read you all the programs that we have there. They stay pretty well the same. Solid waste, project the revenue there at $1.3 million. Expenditures increased in this fund just a little bit, and we have no proposed rate increase. And pretty important, or something we should highlight here, the last time that we increased the solid waste rate was in 2006. So that's been quite some time. We've been able to sustain things for a pretty good long time. We plan to transfer about $200,000 into the reserve fund, and that's consistent with what we've done the last couple of years. On to miscellaneous funds and special highways, we have about almost $1.5 million that we plan to use for street maintenance projects. In special parks, we plan to do some improvements at Arnold Park, rehab of the slide, the large yellow slide at the Hayes Aquatic Park, some playground improvements at a couple of parks throughout the community, and then we also have installation of play equipment at the Bickel-Schmidt Sports Complex, and that is a project that will be jointly funded by the City of Hayes and the Hayes Rec Commission. On to the CVB, transient guest tax remains strong. We project that we'll collect right around $1 million in transient guest tax. CVB, we did have some changes in the actual budget this year. We changed some of the line items around to better manage expenditures and expectations in that fund. We did, the outside agencies line item fully funds DHDC. That's the first year that will happen. We've funded at 50% from transient guest tax previous years. And then we have a $75,000 transfer to special parks. So that is something that we started in 2017, and we plan to continue to do that for the foreseeable future. In stormwater, we have no large projects for 2018. One thing that we did do is we transferred the street sweeper operator position from the Public Works Department into the stormwater department for 2018. Capital improvement plan, we have our major street project is Allen Street. That's a replacement from 8th Street to Vine. We have a couple of water line upgrades that we're going to do, and then we're also going to do some sewer line replacement in several areas throughout the community. This is the fleet replacement schedule. Now I will say that as far as fleet replacement goes, these are all scheduled to be replaced, and most of them are at the end of their serviceable life, but we will take a look at those as they come up next year. If it's something that we can put off another year, we don't need to replace it, we won't replace it. we do the guys out there do a pretty good job of taking a look at those and seeing if we can extend the life or if it's something that we need to replace. So in summary, this is a balanced budget that you're about to see, or that we've been discussing the last couple of months. No mill levy increase, reduction in expenditures, 4% wage increases included, no additional employees, and as always, we continue to focus on having a sustainable budget. And I just want to take just a minute to thank department heads and administrative staff for helping put together the budgets and submitting them. And then also Andrea Winholz, the executive assistant in the city manager's office, does a lot of work with the budget, putting everything together as well. And I can't forget Finance Director Kim Rupp. I even made some fireworks for him. Kim really starts this process pretty early on in the year. In January, February, he starts working. There's a lot of work that goes in to getting everything prepared for the departments so that they can submit budgets. So he does a great job putting it all together. I don't know what he's going to do for the rest of the year, but he's been busy.
Wonder,
up to
we all
this point.
wonder.
And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to stand here and answer them, or hand them over to Kim Rupp, because he's the expert on all this stuff.
Jacob, thanks for the presentation. Like we said before, I appreciate city staff and what you guys brought to us this year, and very happy on the budget. I assume we're going to approve tonight. It's very nice. The economy is pretty tight right now, but we've been able to give raises and also keep our budget intact. And it's to have keep the mill everywhere it's at and stuff like that. It's a lot of it's the hard work you guys have put in and what your employees have done. So thank you.
Who did the logo for the budget?
The CVB had an intern last year,
Uh-huh.
and that's when we started the new logo. Color-wise, we've went with a different color this year. We had blue,
Oh.
if you recall, last year.
Just-
It looks pink on there.
It looked all, it
It'll
looked
be-
all fancy, so I was just curious who was all fancy with the
At
logo.
least I think it's brown.
Yeah, it looks brown to me.
Looks good, huh?
Good work. Thanks for all your hard work to all the employees who are involved in the budget.
Is there any public comment? I will take a motion to close the public hearing.
Chairman, I move we close the public meeting for the City of Hayes 2018 budget.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Swaller, second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda would be the 2018 budget approval.
I would, you ready for that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd make a motion that we approve the 2018 budget as presented.
Second.
Anybody, anything?
I was about ready to say something. Motion by Commissioner Myers, second by Commissioner Jacobs. Any comments before we?
Well, you win some, you lose some. I really thought the DHDC's funding should have been reduced, but I'm okay with passing it as presented.
I've given my feelings over and over and over again about the university situation. The words ad nauseum have been on my mind lately. I haven't changed that feeling.
I will, on that, I will second that, and I would agree with you. I think it's a mistake. I just, but, we've talked about this many times. I think cutting the university is a big mistake for what they bring and will continue to bring to our community. But, it is what it is, I guess. So hopefully, in the future, they'll continue to grow and we can grow with them.
I do appreciate the commission coming together. I hope you agreed with us on the compromise on the Coalition for Economic Development. I think that's a step in the right direction. We'll see where that takes us.
I would agree with you, Commissioner Schultz.
$38 million budget, that's $200,000 less than the last year. Irregardless of all the things that were just discussed, that's a great budget.
Yeah, and we continue
I
to-
keep wanting to applaud Kim and Toby and all the staff. I'm in awe of the work you guys have done.
too. And I think having 5 of us up here, sometimes with different opinions, I think it's really helped us toe the line, and I hope our community appreciates that. So,
If we all get along, Henry has to stay home.
that's true. No. So, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Passes 5-0. Forward to the city manager.
I would just echo Jacob's sentiments about the appreciation to Jacob's hard work on the budget, but also Andrea and especially Kim. Kim did a good job since taking over as the budget manager. Also, late last year, I challenged all the department heads to find money for raises. Told them that it was time to give a raise. I would go to bat for them, but they were going to have to work hard to find me the money, and they did a very good job of identifying money for raises. Well, this year they've been challenged with rewriting our pay plan and coming up with a recommendation on wages and
Very good.
benefits.
Very good.
Aaron Giebler, our HR director, and Jacob Wood, the assistant city manager, they're tasked with putting together a group that is going to be evaluating our wages and benefits, recommending a pay plan that we're going to bring with next year's budget, which is probably going to have a lot of different adjustments in it, but I have no doubt we're going to knock it out of the park again. And you know what? If we have declining revenues, we're going to find a way to deal with it. It's something that needs to happen. We're just going to have to find a way to deal with it. So I expect pretty good things with next year's budget as well when you guys get it.
That's outstanding, and I appreciate that Aaron and Jacob are taking on that project. I think it's going to be an amazing project, and I'm anxious to see it as it goes through.
You know, Kim, this is my 4th budget session, and I don't know if I'm just learning it a little bit better, but it seemed like this year for me it was a lot simpler to read, very understandable. And like I said, I don't know if it's me finally learning a little bit better, but it was very, I mean, to me it was, I really didn't have a lot of questions this year. I mean, we discussed a lot of it, you know, in open meetings and stuff, but it was very, it made sense, so I appreciate it.
I will tell you, Jacob was very instrumental in getting some of
Thank you.
that extra out of there that we didn't feel was necessarily, some of the language, some of the items in there, and so that was great to see we were able to pull that out. So.
Well, like I said, kudos to the whole staff, we appreciate it, guys.
I would say that I hated when they moved the elections from the spring until the fall, but I think one thing that's good that's going to come out of that is that the new commissioners, like when I was new, one of the very first things that you did, like you come on at the end of April, and all of a sudden the
Amen.
budget cycle. So
That's right.
I think that is going to be a good thing, having people come in January and getting a few more months of seeing what actually happens and getting some presentations that came from the budget out in front of them. So I think, and that your comment on that kind of made me think of that it is going to be a good thing with the election cycle moving. Overall, I think it's a bad thing, but one good thing came out of it.
You know, as many budgets as I've looked at in my career, and I'm kind of a budget person, I like it, but municipality budget is a whole different ball of wax. And I thought I was going to sit down and just run right through it, and I had to spend a lot of time, and it even gave me a greater appreciation, because it is very different from budgets I looked at banking all those years.
You saved us $200,000 by refinancing bonds, and now the budget's
Wow.
complete.
Yeah.
Can we just clock you out for the rest of the year?
All right.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't work for us.
Oh.
Oh, that's right. That's technicality.
My work here's done. I'm going home.
And you kept a AA rating, so kudos. All of us on that.
I just have one thing I'm always thanking. If you haven't been to the downtown bathroom and see the work that the staff has done down there, you really need to go down. I've been by every day and I was taking pictures. Those guys just do an absolutely wonderful job. It looks great. It's been used. We're anxious. We had even one little thing break in there. So that's been taken care of, but it's outstanding. The guys did great work. But more than that, I have to comment on the guys working on streets. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Those guys are so skilled. I go down Willow, and they're working on Willow right now every day. And the work that they're doing and the way they're getting it done and the skill set of our associates, I'm really proud of all of them. Thank you.
I have nothing.
Still my street thunder. I don't talk about bathrooms much. People get kicked off television for that. The scale that was used to replace Ash from 17th to 19th, and now they're working on the intersection, is amazing. I know that 8th Street is a big project. It's coming along. I know it's not much solace to those that have to work there and drive through it, but things are coming along. I'm also very impressed with the progress. I want to shift gears a bit. If we could, at a future work session, maybe have an open discussion about what we'd like to do to grow our sales tax. What role would the city commission like to play as a catalyst to increase retail development? We all would like another grocery store. We all would like other places to shop. What role can we play as a commission and with our economic development policy? And on that, would we like to take another attempt to have a developer build a convention center? These are things that have, if we were able to do these successfully, would create more traffic and more revenue.
I second that.
I think that we've all been contacted by various folks down in the 27th and Thunderbird area, so at some point in the future, I think it would be good if everybody else is willing to sit through a 5 or 10 minute run through of the water issues that they've discussed with us and potential remedies.
Maybe look at actually all the areas of flood. That way you can put it in perspective.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
The reason I mentioned that area specifically is because those are the people who are contacting
Right.
us. So,
Yes, we'll put something together and put it on a future work session.
Thank you.
Commissioner Swallow, I appreciate you bringing that up, the two items you brought up, because that was a concern of mine on economic development. What are we going to do? And I think we need it. We've been pretty loud about we're not happy with what's going on. I think we need to be part of it, if we can be. If we can be. And, a lot of people don't think a convention center is important, but there's a lot of people who believe that it would be very important. I would like for us to explore every avenue possible, if it's possible. I don't think the city should ever own it, but I think we should explore, what's out there and what we can do instead of just saying, oh, we don't have one, because I think it would be a big plus for our community. So, nothing, we are adjourned.
Sure.